Hey folks, it's Todd here with Amped Realty. Hope you're doing well today. I am trying something new for the first time, so I am not sure how this is turning out on Facebook. I am trying to share. I'm trying to share my screen with you. Well, folks, all right, so I will definitely post a repost of this particular share here, but let me just kind of get into a little bit about what I wanted to talk to you about today, and that is really kind of forbearance. And really, do we understand what is forbearance? Is forbearance a bad word? Um, you know, Webster's dictionary says that forbearance is considered, it's a noun, and it is patient self-control, restraint, and tolerance. That is forbearance from taking action. And literally that word has just been kind of blowing up lately as we talk about the mortgage industry, the home purchasing, what's going on right now. And forbearance, really, what does that mean to use forbearance with your mortgage? And that is, under forbearance, your loan payments are postponed or reduced, but interest continues to accrue during the period of forbearance. Now, if you don't pay the interest during that period, the interest may be what's called capitalized. In other words, it continues to add on, and it's added to your principal balance, okay, at the end of your mortgage, so you end up owing more and more and more. So you've got to be careful with forbearance and with the term forbearance. Now, here's the thing, and I've talked to several clients with regards to these situations, and the thing that they're basically telling us is, don't just stop paying your mortgage. Okay, that's the worst thing in the world that you can do, because what that's basically going to lead to is that's going to lead you to foreclosure down the road, and that's the last thing that you want to do. Now, really, what do you want to do? Now, you've got your lender. For most of us that are paying mortgages, you've got to understand, you've got to open some conversations. So really, what do you want to do? You need to call, email, or apply online with your lender. Now, a lot of the larger lenders, Wells Fargo, Chase, PNC, those banks typically have things set up on their home pages if you are logged online with regards to the forbearance procedure. Now, the thing that you also have to understand is when you call and when you talk to somebody, you've got to talk to a person in the mortgage division. Now, that person is going to outline some things for you with regards to, hey, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. So there you go. Don't allow the lender to tell you to call them back to discuss. So, for example, if you call up the lender and say, hey, Mr. and Miss Lender, I'm really struggling. It's tough out there with everything going on right now. If I can just skip maybe 3 months worth of payments, I'll be fine. The lender says, hey, no problem. Give us a call back in 3 months and we'll talk about it. Okay. There is a problem with that, because what happens is you no longer have the power to negotiate. The banks are negotiating, and within the bill, the way that the bill's written is the bank can determine how you pay back that from that forbearance period. Okay, so if it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever it is, they can determine how you're going to pay them back. The first and the foremost thing that you want to do is you want to get that contract in writing. Okay, you want to get that contract in writing because you want to understand how you're going to have to pay that back, right? So if they say, hey, in 3 months, call us back and we'll talk about it, and you say, hey, in 3 months, I'm still having problems, they say, no problem, take another 6 months, and then all of a sudden in 6 months, they go, you know what, we want that money back now. So if you're paying $2,000 a month, right, and you haven't had a job for 6 months, where are you going to come up with $12,000? That could be a problem then and there. That's going to start the foreclosure process, and we're going to get back into 2007, 2008, all over again, and nobody wants that. Okay, nobody wants that. Getting it in writing tells you exactly how they're going to request the payment back. Now, the best thing for you to do is ask if you could have those mortgage payments put on the back end of your loan. In other words, so if you had to take forbearance for a year, for example, and you've got a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, that may become a 31-year fixed rate mortgage, okay? Because those payments get added on towards the end. The other thing that I've seen people do is they have negotiated with their banks to just pay principal and interest alone on that, or potentially, just interest alone on that, right? So they're just paying interest, they're not paying the principal. Now, here's the thing. Once you get that contract, and after you've got it in writing, and after you've negotiated with the loan officer, read that contract from front to back. Understand what that contract says. If you don't understand that contract, get in touch with an attorney and ask them to explain it to you, okay? It's worth paying a little bit of money up front to have somebody refine that information for you so you really know and understand kind of what you're going through and your obligation to that lending institution is. And then the last thing that you want to do is do not sign that contract if you are not comfortable. Okay, if you don't understand that contract, there's nothing wrong with calling back and saying, hey, I don't understand this, explain this to me. Okay, and if they say, well, it's this, then make sure that's in writing too. Again, you want to strongly negotiate as you go through and as you talk about, again, repayment of the loan. It's important that you understand what's going on with your money because it's your money and it's your home. Now, the thing that you've got to understand with forbearance is in the mortgage payments, usually your taxes and insurance are paid. And with the taxes and insurance being paid, that goes along with part of your mortgage payment. You still have an obligation to pay your taxes and your insurance. God forbid, should you have something happen to your house and it's not covered because you haven't made an insurance payment, well, then that could be a problem, okay? Because you're gonna be short in your escrow. Now, you were paid last year. Last year was paid, and they're carrying you through this year. One of the things I tell people is talk to your insurance company and find out. Say, hey, sometimes they're willing to cut a little bit off the deal, right? Taxes, not so much. But again, it's making those calls, it's having those conversations, it's talking to those people. So definitely don't just stop paying, but negotiate. Negotiate until you're comfortable. And if you don't understand it, get somebody who can help you understand it. Now, just a quick summary. Again, I said this was just going to be very, very easy, very non-specific. But the first and foremost thing is don't just stop paying. And you can't just decide not to pay your mortgage, right? You've got to make sure that you stay up to date on everything because you don't want that reporting to credit agencies, all right? Negotiate, get it in writing, understand what they're saying, understand what they want, understand what your obligation is, understand what their obligation is, okay? Know your responsibilities with regards to taxes and insurance. Know those responsibilities and know what you have to do. And then finally, don't be afraid to ask for help, okay? If there's anything that we can do here, you are welcome to reach out to me directly. You can shoot me a message. I'd be happy to get back to you just as soon as possible. I am not an attorney, but I have looked over a few of those negotiating contracts, and we've been able to ask a few questions. I'm not an attorney. Again, let me repeat that. I'm not an attorney, but be happy to give an eye and just kind of a, hey, this is what I think it is. So, again, it's one of those where make sure you kind of understand what's going on. And again, if we can be of assistance, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to us at 502-200-1980 or Todd at ampedrealty.com. And appreciate you sitting through this. Sorry for the technical glitch, but we'll get that worked out. We've got another webinar coming up tomorrow. Kind of what we understand is how things are working in the local market and what you can expect as a buyer or seller or a homeowner. So, hope everything goes well with you. Take care. Enjoy your Sunday. Stay safe, everybody. Be kind to one another, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.